And I pray and hope that the reason why we have put this whole event together, we will achieve it today. Thank you once again, our moderators and our speakers in the house. Thank you thank you participants for joining us today. And thank you, Captain Emmanuel, Lost Great. So the floor is back to you, sir.
All right, thank you very much, Sophia, for that wonderful opening speech. It's quite very interesting, and it's a pleasure also to be here today. Okay, apologies for that glitch. So thank you very much, Sophia, for your opening speech, and thank you for gathering all of us together to be able to deliberate and come up with cogent conclusions on how our young people can and should take advantage of the potentials and the opportunities that abound in tourism, to tap into those opportunities and make something prosperous out of them. And today, without wasting any further time, I will be introducing the panelists we have today and moderator. And it's my pleasure to be doing that today. And as much as I would have loved to start with Mr. Gabe Ona, the courtesy definitely will not permit me, because I have to first of all actually introduce the moderator of this event. So today, having us on the wheel and also being on the wheel ourselves to moderate the session today is none other than Barry. Yesterday, at the end of the session, we introduced Barry to you guys. She spoke a few words, but today, Barry will be taking the podium to moderate the session of today. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about Barry, and then I will also introduce all the other members of the panel. But it will be a very brief one, because definitely I still expect them to tell us what and who they are. So without wasting any further time, I will be bringing on Lizette Berry. Lizette Berry is the founder and the CEO of Brain Fitness Consult Ghana. He's a social entrepreneur and also is a tourism consultant. He actually is a consultant with Event to Shot, and then Event Shot is an event and tourism firm that is promoting connection between African players in the industry and also advancing business and sustainable tourism. Especially because at TBS Africa, our organization where I'm the CEO promotes climate-friendly sustainable tourism in Africa. So I can see a connection between myself and Barry as far as sustainable tourism is concerned. And also being a brain fitness consultant, I think Barry is going to bring our expertise today on board to talk about the mental and the emotional approach that our young people can actually bring on board when it comes to the area of passion. Because yesterday, we actually spoke a lot during the aviation session about why our young people should be passionate. I think Barry will be bringing this expertise on board today, as she will be also moderating the panel session. So Barry, thank you very much for being here today, and we look forward to having you. Next on the panel today, I'll be starting with a personal friend who is also on the panel. And he also spoke with you guys yesterday. He is Ogunkoya Pascal Benga by name. I call him Comrade Pascal because this guy is an advocate for youth tourism. I've never seen a young man that has ever advocated for youth tourism engagement, involvement as participation like Ogunkoya Pascal. Ogunkoya Pascal is the project and program officer of Youth Tourism Development Organization, Nigeria. And in case you're not aware, Youth Tourism Development Organization is the only organization in Africa that is focused strictly on youth tourism engagement. Ogunkoya Pascal is a graduate of tourism studies himself and is definitely a formidable force as far as youth tourism is concerned. So I look forward to Ogunkoya's presentation, comments, and solutions to how youth can actually take advantage of the tourism opportunities on today's panel. And next on the panel today is Usman G. Kebe, Manager, Public Relations and Communication of Gambia Tourism Board. Now, I'm looking forward to getting an invitation to visit Gambia from Kebe today, being on the panel and looking at his extensive experience working with hospitality and tourism over the years, more than a decade. I am looking forward to hearing from Kebe today, fantastic solution-driven action plan for how our youth can take advantage of tourism. And the last, but definitely the most powerful on the panel today, yes, permit me to say that, is our own tourism father, who is on board in the house with us, Mr. Gabe Horner. I intentionally left the introduction for the last because I want you to all be ready to tap and listen. I want every participant of today's day to have a pen and a notepad to grab wisdom, to grab experience, to grab understanding and what to do from this fantastic father of tourism in Africa, who has actually become an icon of tourism in Africa with what he has done with Calabar Carnival. So it needs no further introduction. And thank you very much, sir, once again, Mr. Gabe Horner, for being on today's panel. I'm very, very sure that you have personally brought a lot of people to come and listen to you speak today. So without wasting any further time, I'm going to hand over now to Lizette Berry. Lizette Berry, the floor is yours now.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
So good to hear your voice. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. So thank you for the introduction. And I want to thank you all for coming on board this morning. Yesterday was very exciting. I learned a lot. I don't know if you learned as much as I did. I learned a lot about aviation. And I really want to thank the speakers we had yesterday. They did a great job. One thing I remember very well is that they all said when you're looking towards the aviation industry, you shouldn't only put your eyes on piloting. There are other sectors that you can really be interested in, and you can do good work in those sectors. And they went ahead to just examine of this stuff. And they also left their numbers so that you can contact them for more. So that's really good. Today we're going into tourism. And I know that the panelists today, they are going to do a great job too. So please make sure you pay close attention to everything that is said. Take notes and ask as many questions as you can. These people are here for you. They are here to talk to you today. So just feel free to ask as many questions as you can. So okay, sorry about that. So they've already introduced us actually, but I'm just going to say a few more words about myself. Lizette Berry, I'm a Cameroonian, but I'm currently based in Ghana. And I'm a brain coach, a brain fitness coach. And I've been in the tourism industry for a little over 10 years. When I started, I was in school studying biochemistry, but I loved tourism with such a passion, I couldn't let go. And at one point, tourism actually funded my education. That was something that I was really grateful for. 2018, the travel and tourism direct contribution to the GDP was stated at about $9 trillion. That is huge. It means this industry actually contributes a lot to the GDP. But when 2020 came in, the projected losses were estimated to up to over 40%, I think. That is such a big loss. Can you imagine? But one thing Captain Great said yesterday was that this industry always bounces back. It always comes back, no matter how many things hit us, the industry always bounces back. So I guess the question we are asking right now is, when this industry does get back on its feet, is it going to meet youth who are ready, who are prepared to go out there and bring on their creativity, bring in the things that they've innovated to advance the industry? Or it's going to meet youth who have given up to the fear of uncertainty? Because that's what COVID-19 is all about. There's a lot that we don't know. COVID-19 has created a lot of problems that are new to us. It has created problems that we have not thought of before. And to solve these problems, we have to think in ways that we have not thought of before. And many people are just not capable of that. And because of the uncertainty, a lot of people are giving up. But we should keep that in mind, that the industry always bounces back. So are you going to be ready when that happens? So just before I introduce my panelists, I have 3 strong men with me here today. Just before I introduce them, I would like to point out some 3 areas of the travel and tourism industry that are very important, but are not well exploited. Let me put it that way. They are not exploited as much as they should. So the first one is the MICE sector, that is meetings, incentive travel, conventions, and events or exhibitions, or otherwise known as business tourism. Now, a lot of businesses or a lot of business owners and people working in organizations, they travel all the time for events. They travel all the time to attend one meeting or one convention, one exhibition in another country. But this is what happens. Often the companies or the organizations don't outsource. They just like pick people in the organization to try planning these trips for them. But these people are not experienced to plan the trips, and they end up using like estimatedly 30% or more of the amount of money they were actually supposed to use. So they get a lot of losses. But if you can position yourself as someone in this industry who can be hired, who can be contracted to run and plan these events for them, it could really save them a lot of money and make you some money as well. So the MICE industry that's one sector that people should really consider going into. Then most often, a lot of people have asked me, what can NGOs do to be involved in tourism? And the answer is simple. Sustainable tourism is one of them. You know, sustainable tourism is that part that takes into account the social, the economic, and the environmental aspects of tourism. So it's basically making sure that we are not only creating places that are good for visiting, but that are also good for living. So the visitors don't have to come and then go, and the community suffers. So there are people who are cleaning up beaches. There are people who are making sure that they make use of solar energy. There are people who are also making sure that the visitors respect their cultural values. So there are a lot of things that you can do in your community to make sure that the people that visit are adding to your community as well as you're adding to them, but without destroying what we have now for the future generation. So this is one way that NGOs can begin to participate, and it will really work well with the SDGs. And the last one I want to talk about is wellness tourism. Of course, this works very well with me, because whatever kind of tourism there is, whenever people travel to another place, they want to have a good feeling. But if they can have a healing feeling, that would really be the best thing they can talk about. Most people that travel to Africa want the nature. They want the peaceful nature of the people. They want the environmental nature. But what are they actually looking for from those things? They are looking for healing. They are looking for wellness. But we are fond of just taking the people around. We show them the nice places. But very few people are able to connect to that energy to actually receive the peace or the healing that they need. So if you're someone who is maybe into psychology or neuroscience or mental health advocate or something, you can find a way to get involved in tourism by creating a wellness tourism stuff. You could create something for yourself, or you could partner with someone who is already into stuff like that, so that you are intentional about the people's wellness. So are you all getting me? Hello? Hello? Wow. Hello, can you all hear me? Okay, someone said yes. I got scared that I was talking to myself.
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Please go ahead. We can hear you, please.
No.
Kindly go ahead.
Actually expecting to round up now.
Okay. So those are the few things I can say about the sectors that are not being exploited, and there are opportunities that you can try looking at. So right now, I'm just going to call on my panelists. We're going to start with Usman Kebe. Please just introduce yourself again. I know that has been done already, but please introduce yourself again. Tell us what you do. Tell us about your organization. Mr. Usman, please. Hello?
Please kindly unmute your mic, please. Mr. Usman, you need to unmute your mic. We can hear you from here.
Yes, hello. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you right now.
Very good. My name is Usman Kebe. I work at the Gambia Tourism Board as a public relations and communications manager. And Gambia, we want to send our greetings to everyone on the panel and say good morning to you all from the Gambia. Now, I want to start my presentation with the topic that was given, exploring opportunities in aviation, tourism and hospitality industries for the youth. And I am presenting on behalf of the Director General, Gambia Tourism Board, who wanted to be part of this, but unfortunately, I have to present on his behalf. Now, looking at let me just tell you the Gambia Tourism Board. We came into establishment or into being by an act of a National Assembly or Parliament, and our mandate as per the GT Board Act 2011, Section 4, Subsection 1, the Gambia Tourism Board is responsible for the following. One, we are responsible for coordinating all stakeholder activities within the tourism industry in the Gambia. And we also look at strategic development and growth of tourism in the Gambia, and also advising government on tourism development and performance and growth. We also look at tourism product development, because tourism is all about developing products and working on products. And then we also, according to our mandate, market the Gambia as an attractive tourist destination through the use of appropriate promotional and marketing tools. These are some of our mandates according to the mandate that we have been given according to the Parliament. Now, this forum is very interesting. We're looking at tourism and hospitality, but first I want to also look at the definition of tourism as per some laymen would understand, which would be the commercial organization and operation of holidays and visits to places of interest. Yes, people would like to visit places of interest, and all the operations within the commercialization of these organizations for holidays, I think is one thing that you can understand to be tourism. Although the definition could be activities of people traveling from one place to another, either for leisure or for business or for pleasure. All this encompasses as tourism activities. In another sense, if anyone leaves your usual home or your usual residence or domicile, and you visit somewhere, even in your country, and you spend more than 24 hours, you are considered to be a tourist, which is a domestic tourist. So, and in tourism, we call that domestic tourism. So I think now most countries are trying to develop domestic tourism in order to add up to the international tourism that they are receiving. Now, these strategies that the Gambia Tourism Board and the government that we are using in order to run our tourism activities in the Gambia, we work with overseas tour operators from source markets. We also work with travel agencies selling packages to destination Gambia. And those overseas tour operators, they also work with ground tour operators and handlers with hotels. They also work with other stakeholders for specific service provision. We also have in the Gambia, we also have what is called official tourist guides located in most of the hotels to sell alternative trips of places of interest to our visitors. The government started this scheme just to create jobs for our youths that are leaving school, college, and universities, so that at least there could be this kind of job creation for the youth, basically, which is the theme of this meeting. And I hope that the youth will capitalize on all these opportunities that are available. Now, we look at the definition of hospitality. Hospitality could be seen as the friendly and generous reception and entertainment of guests, visitors, and strangers. And another form of definition for hospitality is hospitality encompasses a lot more in taking good care of visitors through services and expressions of making our guests to feel free and comfortable when they visit us. This is part of hospitality. Smiles and compliments could go a long way to create uncomfortable and sweet memories, to create unforgettable and sweet memories to our guests and visitors. And I think I was following part of the meeting yesterday. They said smiles were missing. And I'm sure today we'll be smiling a lot because that is part of hospitality. Now, how to become a hospitality professional amidst and after COVID-19? Youths are hereby advised to take up courses or careers online training programs of their choice in tourism and hospitality during this lockdown or slowdown period of the COVID-19 pandemic, because most people have less to do. So I think it's a good time for the youths to look at alternative courses and career path that they want to do, I think this will greatly help them. This will enable the youth to fit well and make informed decisions to qualify before the absolute disappearance of the COVID-19. But we don't know when it's going to disappear. But there are efforts going on, and we hope that sooner or later, which we don't know when, but sooner or later with the emergence of the vaccines and all these things. But before then, the youth could prepare themselves by taking online courses. These online courses, I recommended it because of the social distancing during this pandemic. But earlier preparations also is recommended with the following career path. This is all to guide our youth, to show them the different career path that they can opt for, make a choice. Front office and reception is one, cookery and pastry is another, career path, housekeeping and laundry is another one, bar and restaurant, tour guiding is very interesting to be guiding people and tell them places of interest, histories, and things like that. Travel and tourism management is something that the youth is advised to look at as a career path. Airline and travel agency management, air hostesses and crew services, ticketing and ticketing management. We also have the other one is tour operations and management, ground handling, gaming, betting and casino, spa, fitness and wellness. Somebody mentioned it, the lady who just presented. These are all part of tourism, fitness and wellness, events and facilities management, gardening and pool management, Baywatch and the Blue Ocean services, heritage and monument and museum management. These are all career paths that the youth is advised to look at and make a good choice. Now, another relevant advice to the youths, with the completion of the above mentioned courses, when you complete these career paths, then you are fully equipped with the knowledge and experience. The youth is now ready to take up employment opportunities available internally, either in Nigeria or in the Gambia, and externally abroad, anywhere that you can have the opportunity to make good use of your career path. As we also say, the youth are our future leaders. That's a common saying, but this must be reflective of our realities of bringing trainings and qualifications to take over from our hardworking aging leaders and parents. Now, when we talk about youths are the leaders of the future, yes, they are, but how do we make them to be the leaders of the future? I think they need some kind of upbringing, some training, give them qualification, give them enough knowledge in order to prepare them well to take over for our aging leaders and our aging parents. I therefore would like to implore upon all the youth present on this conference to read more, learn more, and do more practical work by seeking for attachments, making attachments at workplaces, and for more experiences. This is the short presentation that I have to present to you all, and I want to thank you so much for your kind attention, and God bless you, and I hope that this will make a great impact in our tourism and hospitality industry. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Osman. Thank you so much. So that this is a time when we have to sit down, study. We have a lot of time on our hands now, most of us. So sit down, study, and make sure you equip yourself for what's coming in the future. Thank you very much, Mr. Osman. We're going to get back to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So there's this man I've been hearing about since Sophie called me and we started putting this together. I've not met him before. I just heard about him a few days ago, but I had to go read his profile, try to learn a lot of things about him because I saw a very powerful profile. And we started talking on the platform for some few days. And I realized that he is very simple. He's so filled, but he's also very simple. And I'm very excited to listen to him now. And I need you to get ready to hear from him as well, to get all this experience. He's going to put up his experience that he's had for so many years, and he's going to give us in a few minutes. We are very blessed to have that. So, Mr. Gabe Honor, please, are you there?
I'm here for you.
Yeah, please tell us about yourself. Tell us about your work, your organization, and just anything else you want to add about tourism and travel.
Okay, Barry Lizard.
Yes.
I'd like to welcome you
Thank
to
you.
Calabar, the home of Tinapa.
Yay!
And the home of Carnival Calabar.
Yeah.
The Asian city of Calabar, the twin brother of Mr. Usman Keba of the Smiling Coast.
Wow. Yeah.
Welcome in Africa, we call ourselves. And you said you are surrounded by 3 heavy men. We are protecting you, okay?
I am.
Then I also would like to identify with the suggestion that we should all turn our videos on if network will allow, so that we'll keep up the smiles that tourism is all about.
Yeah, that's right.
That we can have a general picture. I am also happy to be here with this great team, Mr. Pascal, Miss B, and of course, Team Obina and Sophia. They are strong people, very, very strong people to bring us like this together. And my sincere condolences to our brother who lost his colleague just yesterday or 2 days ago. It's a big one, and sharing common humanity, we should reach out there. My name is Gabe Bonner, and I have been part of the new thinking for the tourism initiative for Cross River State since year 2000, 1999 into the millennium year. I was in the framework team with the first governor in the New Times, Governor Donald Duke, and Governor Mboke, and I am the unfortunate institutional memory for the sector. I'm still here suffering for the sector, because this sector, you must be willing to go for it. You are a learner every day, you are a teacher every day, you are a diplomat every day. And these were the words of Ivana yesterday when she talked about passion. And today, listening to Barry, you talked about the preservation of our culture, which I call pride. We must take pride in what we are doing. Our young people must take pride in what they are doing. Again, you shocked me when you said your background was biochemistry. You see, you are intruding into this sector, but we welcome you with all our arms because it is about passion, and you have it. I researched the profile of Mrs. Tourism yesterday as she was being introduced, Mrs. Ebele. She seems to have been coming from a scientific background too.
Yeah. It
is fantastic that this sector has a boundless opportunity for everyone who desires to serve here. As long as you have the ability to meet and greet, as Mr. Keba kindly described hospitality, meet and greet. Mrs. Tourism read microbiology. I just saw it now.
Microbiology, yeah.
Mrs. Tourism World and United Nations. She beat all arts enthusiasts to the coveted crown. So it shows that the soul is rich, you know, and that Miss Lizette, you have a great soul. And I said earlier that in describing hospitality earlier, Mr. Keba has said, as long as you have that welcoming spirit, as long as you have that welcoming mien, which is why we've identified some of our coasts in Africa to call them smiling coasts, you know. And for us in Cross River State and Calabar, we said we are laid back as our brothers in the coast. It doesn't sound well, but it's good for tourism. People want to break away. You talked about body fitness. You talked about the wellness of the body, ability to recreate. You understand?
Yeah.
I have a whole lot of presentation here, but when I listened to Ivana speak yesterday, I listened to you and Keba. I wonder what else I need to say. So I am going to beat 8-10 minutes here now just to see how I can move away from introduction to tourism that has been dealt with already, move away from the attributes of a tour operator, of a destination manager, or of somebody who is ready to play in this sector. I talked about being a learner. You're willing to learn from others. Then a teacher, a diplomat, and above all, to have pride in what we do. Today, the SACSTEAM2020 has challenged us to deal with this tripod, this triangle: aviation, tourism, and hospitality. There are three great units in one. To enjoy a seamless experience for these three, they must continue to marry. They must continue to marry. I dare to say, I join hands with the open introduction that is here, talking about what tourism is. But the three huge pillars for our tourism experience are the plan, the policy, and the commercials. The coronavirus must have come to us as an unwelcome guest, but it has taught us to think out of the box, our ability to adapt. And you said this earlier. Are we going to sit back and say, oh, we have been struck, we cannot move any further? This is where we are challenged. MDGs talked about the development goals for the millennium, but it is now the SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals. And tourism has been identified as one of the low-hanging fruits. In this low-hanging fruit, it is telling us that this is the ability for the quick wins. As long as you have that ability to smile, as long as you have that ability to think out of the box. Tourism is one very perishable subsector. Those of us who run hotels will tell you that if a room is not lived in, it dies. You cannot regain yesterday. You must do it. Just go back to the former slide, why tourism? Go back to the former slide, please. You must maintain that ability to continue to think out of the box, to win and to win and to win. The first icon out there is cultural preservation. And I add voice with what Ms. Lizette told us earlier. Those coming will want to upset our own culture. We want to preserve it. But today, people travel for what they call the knowledge tourism. It's not all about leisure. But knowledge is part of leisure. Leisure is part of knowledge. Another strong one is the environmental protection. If we are not careful, anytime from now, our children will visit the zoo to see what a goat looks like, or what the chicken, which is called fowl in traditional parlance, look like, because they only know chicken on the dining table. But through tourism, you can preserve the environment, conserve our wildlife for future generations. Peace and security is one strong icon. When the youths are engaged, they come back home tired. And when everybody is able to cater for himself, everybody will be happy, smiling to their banks. And I will do justice to this when I try to talk about the initiative of Cross River State in recent times as a model for our sub-region. Then jobs creation. Out of every 10 jobs today, the United Nations World Tourism Organization has reassured that one of those is from tourism. Economic growth. Most of the GDPs today, we have 2-3% coming from this subsector. I have had on-hand experiential sharing with the islands of Trinidad and Tobago and Barbados. They have oil and gas, but tourism is in the forefront of what they benefit. Tourism is in the forefront with what they generate for the economy. They are icons of tourism, which are mostly influencers, like the Rihannas, the Mighty Sparrows of the old times, attract more visitors. When people have to leave their country to your own country or your own destination to savor what you have to offer. And that brings us later on to MICE or an experiential tourism. Development. The infrastructures are naturally expanded to receive additional visitors. The hospitality concerns, the eateries, the access, and what have you. I'd mentioned about the 1 in 10 jobs. I got this update from Lizette's presentation earlier when she talked about the contribution of tourism to the world economy, which is about 9 trillion today. And 10% of the world's GDP is taken out of tourism, and worldwide export stands at about 7%, with 30% of services exports. Today, at the risk of being misunderstood, our services are being required there and here to share experience. We've always said it, that the hunger in Nigeria is not different from the hunger in Ghana. And that is why my sister has left my own backyard here as my neighbor, Barry from Cameroon, to settle in Ghana. And she's delivering the goods for tourism out there. Next slide. I talked earlier about the strong tripods that make for our tourism experience. The policy, which is the plan. Product development, which takes us to product knowledge. Promotion, which in itself is marketing. I have taken liberty to add training, which gives rise to quality service delivery and commercialization. For planning, for our young people, you must develop a SWOT analysis at every time. What is the strength of this site? Because before it becomes a destination or an attraction, there has to be human value addition. In developing that strategy, the SWOT analysis becomes critical for the production of a blueprint that becomes your guiding principle or your compass. It is this SWOT analysis that encourages the realization of the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats, taking into cognizance the entire stratum of the community. And those who consist the strata are the elders, the women, the youths, with other subdivisions. This is an acceptable model from USAID, from the World Bank, and to our own local communities, which we have used here for success. For the product development, first will be product knowledge, which will now add to value addition, because recommendations made will now give rise to the tweaking and the improvement of these facilities. Through a tactical campaign and a marketing strategy, you will begin to know why tourists want to visit you. And this is only done through research. That takes us to promotion, which is marketing. Ms. Berry talked about the sales of tourism products. The products are marketed through channels now. You don't just wake up and run into a destination. You just don't wake up and begin to approach people. Mr. Osman is the head of marketing of his organization. And segmentation takes place. Who are the people for us to approach? Today, in most families, decision makers for holiday decisions are either the mothers or the children. So you package products to attract this very segment. The paymaster, who is usually the father of the house, will come back tired from work in the evening, and mom and dad will welcome him by the door and say, "Daddy, this year is Ghana. This year is the Gambia." How was that made possible? Through artificial intelligence, which is our telephones today, which is the Google opportunity, which is today's Zoom, which is one of our quick wins for COVID. COVID thinks it's going to put us down, but we have to turn COVID to a positive, and that is the ability for a proper mindset. We must learn to move on. Training and service delivery. There is no substitution for training. At the risk of being misunderstood, tourism is still new to Africa. Tourism is still new to the third world. But because developing communities have been encouraged by the United Nations World Tourism Organization to begin to look at these quick wins, we are now forced to begin to look inwards. How do we get people to come and see our untouched environment? How do we train our boys to receive visitors without picking their nostrils, without scratching their head, without scratching their back? It is training and discipline. So the first rule for a repeat experience, when a visitor comes for conference, what will make him come back with his wife and children? Remember, he came alone. He takes a decision to return. 1, training. 2, training. 3, training. It gives rise to quality service and a repeat experience. The building blocks for a successful DMO, Destination Management Organizer or Organization or tour operator, is training. That leads us to commercialization. If after all this goodwill, this good work, we do not begin to make monies out of this, if after a wonderful rehearsal experience from June, July, August to September, as it is in Carnival Calabar, the boys who come to do choreography and to dance, our young girls who offer makeup, who organize the hair designs, don't go back home ready with money to pay school fees. Barry, I'm sorry to say again, you used our sector to pay your school fees, even when you studied biochemistry. So you are already my witness that this sector, the opportunities are truly boundless as long as you have the ability to meet and greet. Sales and deals are truly the commercial opportunities we can get from here. Next slide, please. The Cross River State Tourism Initiative is built around what we call the CRQ. The next slide. Good, good. Okay, back, please. You're fine. Back, please. Yeah, good. We built our tourism initiative with every sense of humility because we have a welcoming disposition. Our forebears used to maintain the unpaved compounds, with the broom. They would design it in such a way that it allures. Our mothers cooked some of the best meals, which takes us to the cuisine icon. They know how to pamper the men, how to pamper the visitors to the fattening room culture. We are great in welcoming. So we decided to build on an existing belief, which is the hospitality, which is the warmth, which is the smiles, which is our colors, which is our dance. The CRQ is therefore the cross river quality with safety, Our tourists would like to come to a place where they can sit down, sit back, and relax with dedicated and exciting packages to ensure return visits, to also improve on quality of service delivery and standard product offerings, making them world-class, #1, and trying to be #1 in the sub-region, with our benchmark identities cut across. When I'm discussing our icons later on, I'll be looking at those benchmarks in our sub-region and across Africa. And the last of the initiative here is to increase the private sector participation and partnership, because therein lies sustainability. The role of government is to provide enabling environment. The role of government is to provide safety, security, communication, and access, whereas the private sector now deals with its direct running for sustainability, because it is the private sector that will always want to recycle and preserve these products for future generations. Government policies will see players, operators come and go. We have some lucky dip here with me on the system for nearly 17 to 19 years, but it is just an accident. And that's why I said I'm the unfortunate institutional memory for the sector, and it is not easy. Next slide. The benefits of tourism for our young people is raising the standards of our hospitality establishments and events. We will be talking about events tourism when I home in on Carnivals later on. Increase the availability and quality of employment in tourism enterprises. The young people must not begin to see the sector as a management place. A lot of times, anywhere I get to in the world, I ask the guys in the front office, how are you? They will tell me I'm fine. Are you happy? The experience I get in the third world, in Nigeria, in Ghana, they will tell you I'm managing. I said, manage. You must take pride in what you are doing. Tourism enterprise is a whole opportunity for survival. And I said, everybody must work. God worked when he created the world. Jesus worked in his father's workshop as a carpenter. So when you work in your subsector, you're adding to creation. So take pride. But if you ask a young boy in Jamaica or in Trinidad and Tobago or in Barbados, how are you? He will tell you, I'm fine. Are you happy? He says, sure. He's serving 17 people smoothies with smiles and he's singing. Smoothies of $1, you might dash him $50 before you know. So he goes back happier with tips. We must take pride in the sector. Somebody just sent that chat in there, and I'm grateful for this. And the last of it is to encourage tour guiding. And this brings us to the ability of meet and greet. Passion, 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 and the great smiles. Next slide. Our major tourism products. Next slide. Am I with you? Experience tourism, the MICE unit, Beryl mentioned earlier, heritage tourism, which leads us to roots, wildlife, and conservation. Carnival Calabar and Festival was a tiny vision that has become a commercial success. In third world, it's difficult to have governments run policies like this successfully through 2 to 3 governments. But we are on our third lap. But government only acted as a catalyst to break open the experience tourism through the carnival and festival as a pilot for the private sector to take over. It is our desire, it has been our desire that by this 2020, this sector should be 80% private sector funded, with quasi running by the private sector and the public sector. Carnival Calabar is our humble effort in giving the world the gift of warmth, the gift of dance, the gift of smiles, which is the soul of our tourism. It is therefore a breaking point. You use this to attract the visitors into the city, which is called the known tracks, the beaten tracks. After that, now they'll take a decision to take on the unbeaten tracks, which is to go and explore the other interests, which has to do with our wildlife, the roots tourism, the heritage tourism, and the rest of them. Obudu Mountain Resort is our strength in MICE. We have an international conference center that can take 1,000 and 2,000 depending on the sitting capacity. But in recent times, between 2010 and 2016, an international conference center of 5,000 capacity was built, the Calabar International Conference Center, that can cater for this huge amount of people. Between the Obudu Mountain Resort and the city of Calabar, we have 2 airports that can ferry tourists to the airstrip before they take on the mountains. The mountain itself is cool climate all year round. Temperature drops between 8 and 12 degrees all year round.
Apologies, Mr. Gabe. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but as much as I'm enjoying this lecture, I'd just like to give you 5 minutes more to wrap it up. Definitely, we are coming back to you, and I know a lot of people have questions from your slide. So maybe we can wrap it up in 5 minutes so that we can take the next panelist.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, good. So the CICC, the Boncho Canopy Walkway, which is our desire to look like Ghana. Ghana had theirs finished in wood, 388 meters long. We decided to beat Ghana that year, making it 400 meters long, finished with steel. We have the Alok Monolith, which is our icon on heritage. The Kwa Falls, which is nature tourism with cataracts, running water down the stream, same for Kwa Falls. Then Agbokin Waterfall, sorry. Marina Resort, which is our slave history museum. Out of the 2.4 million slaves that left Africa to the New World, 30.1% of that number, about 800,000, passed through the shores of Calabar. Unfortunately, we don't have castles. We don't have places where they kept them because we were nearer the ocean when they raided the slaves from Marochuku, Makadi, Goja, Abia. It was easy to take them to the mothership using the small ships. So that is one of our strengths. And the rainforest. Next slide. Next slide is Obudu. Those are the cable car. There's so much to be mentioned and talked about on the cable car. It is an attraction. It is the only cable car in Africa. I know people who have traveled widely will tell me there's one cable car in Cape Town. Cape Town is geographically in Africa, but by development, it looks like Europe to me. So I claim that this is the only cable car in Africa, easily the longest, 4.5 kilometers long, through 13 short span towers. The one in cable car and in Cape Town is about 200 meters long. The next slide is the Alok Monolith. I mentioned it earlier on our heritage tourism. The next slide. The third slide is the Museum of Slave History. That is the anchor, Calabar, my Calabar, talking about the role slavery is playing today. Our brothers and sisters in the diaspora who want to reconnect with their past will come back in search of this. Next slide is the monorail. The first monorail in Africa was built in Calabar. In Nigeria, solely was built in Calabar. We had to repeat this about 5 years ago to tell that story. This takes people from Tinapa to the International Conference Center. You can see far up there. Next one is the Canopy Walkway. This is 400 meters long in the heart of the rainforest, suspended on above the forest floor. You can see wildlife in their true habitat. And this is another, next slide is the Kanu Doba. The opportunities here are huge for our young boys, the costume making and what have you. To encourage tour guiding again, this is Ogbunike Lake, somewhere in Abia, Imo State, between those two states. The next one is the Nickel Lake. Argugu Festival to the right, Argugu to the left, Nike to the right. The next one is Ayo Masquerade, Tinapa Resort Center for the slides for people who want to play, people who are friendly with water. The next one is our crossover gorillas, tour guiding our rangers in the wildlife forest. In Rwanda today, gorillas are marketed. You queue for a month and two, and in the Congos to see this in their true habitat. And Cross River State lowland gorilla remains one of the rarest today in world history. The next now is Zuma Rock that is being turned into a destination by the man in the middle there, Alhaji Musali Dantata. Then the beautiful Jos Rocks, for me, our first home of tourism in Nigeria, because the cool climate makes it a natural. Everywhere in Jos is a tourist heaven. Next slide, and that is Great Calabar. Next slide is my attempt at the value chain in this subsector and what we have grown this subsector from 2012 when we decided to go into M&E, monitoring and evaluation and data, working with IBM of America. They gave us the frameworks to collect data and analyze them. And the value chain sees that sales and marketing, hospitality, tour guiding, performing arts, arts and craft, costume are some of the strong opportunities for our young boys and girls to get engaged. 4,500 jobs were identified in 2012. By 2018, it rose to 25,000 direct employment. We project that by 2028, the direct employment on this subsector would have been 71,000. 2038, 2048, as you go. I talked about, the next slide talked about the creative work and the creative community and the advantage of the cooperation in the PPP model. The role of the private sector, the role of the creative community, the creativepreneur, and the creative environment, and what this can lead us to. We won't be getting it right if we don't discuss the opportunity. Please, the next slide. The two critical positives on the arrival of coronavirus. The sector has been worse hit because we said our offering is perishable. But the two positives that we are faced with today is the engendering of domestic tourism. With a population of 250 million in Nigeria, for example, if you just pray for 1% of that number to hit your community, to hit your state, or to hit your town, you're going to be happy. And you know, we Nigerians would like to identify, we like to spend. The second one is it accelerated the adoption of the virtual sales, the virtual space. Actualizing a supposed 5 years, it was assumed that the numbers hitting Zoom today have raised to nearly 300 million. The projection was that this would have happened in the next 5 years. Will our youth sit down and see this opportunity past them? This brings us the ability to adapt. We must get adapted. We must take advantage and take center stage for this sector. Will you join tourism in making it a driver of positive change? I'm asking the young men now. Are we going to come together and turn this sector to a gold mine for ourselves? Of course, yes. And the only way out is for us to go back to the classroom, ask experts as you meet us on the road, go and get formally trained. Open your mind, people, and you'll be happy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gabe. Thank you so very much. Well, that's so powerful. I hope these slides are going to be shared to all of us, and the slides Mr. Usman used as well, because there are a lot of opportunities that Mr. Usman put on, and Mr. Gabe has also put a lot of opportunities on here that youth can look at. So I hope we can get to share the slides so that everybody gets them. Thank you again very much, Mr. Gabe. We're going to come back to you. But for now, I'd like us to welcome Mr. Ogunkoya Pascal. I hope I pronounced the name right.
Yes,
he's
yes.
the project. Officer of Youth Tourism Development Organization. So, Mr. Pascal, you're welcome. Please tell us about yourself, your organization, and what you do. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Barry. I quite appreciate Ms. Sophia, Captain, my Oga Editor, Gabi, Honor, Sir, and Mr. Usman Kebe. I quite appreciate you all. It's such a wonderful morning, and I'm glad to be in the midst of, such a great tourism personalities. Now, to start with, I want to say this topic that the organizer have chosen, it's a wonderful topic. And I must say they've done a great and wonderful job exploring opportunities in the tourism industry for youth in Africa. My name is Ogunkoya Pascal. I'm the project and program officer of the Youth Tourism Development Organization, Lagos chapter. And I'll be doing justice to the topic. Now, I want to start with I won't call it a definition anyway, but it's just let me just say, tourism is a powerful vehicle for economic growth and job creation all over the world. No doubt. My passion for tourism, I'm looking towards a year whereby people all over the world will visit Africa, most especially Nigeria, to see what we have. Africa as a whole, we are really blessed, richly blessed with so many tourism attractions. We are really blessed. Now, to Nigeria, I will say, with all honesty, that we are not there yet. However, we can do better. My Oga the top there talks about Calabar Carnival. I've been watching, studying. I want to know more about Calabar Carnival, how they've been so active in the last 100 years. I mean, for such activities to be consistent in the past 100 years, it shows they've really been doing a wonderful job. Sir, I really appreciate your effort towards developing Calabar Carnival in your state. Now, I studied tourism at the BSc level, and I can say, to some extent, I've, traveled around Nigeria, and I've seen all what we have. And myself and my team, we've been doing a wonderful job to ensure that we promote and market tourism. We promote Nigeria to the highest level that we can. Now, I will start by saying that in YTDO, we have a vision and mission. Before I go to the topic proper, vision and mission. And vision is to establish a unique platform for youth involvement in the promotion of African tourism and cultural potential internationally and locally, as well as encouraging youth to embrace and practice tourism towards the enhancement of job creation and empowerment opportunity, and fostering of national and international peace and unity. Now, this brings me to the topic proper. To be candid, not everybody cannot be a tour operator, cannot be a tour consultant, cannot be an event planner or hotel manager or tour agent or tour guide. We all cannot be one thing or the other. We should identify a niche. How do I mean by that? With the passion and the focus to whatever. Now, as youth, thank God for COVID-19. COVID-19 has really shown us that we need to patronize our domestic tourism. There is need for us to promote our domestic tourism. Now, COVID-19 has led us to see reasons why we need to come to our own attraction. Be it Kenya, be it Nigeria, be it South Africa, you need to promote your own domestic tourism. Now, I want to say something. In YTDO, we are looking towards what we call capacity building. Capacity building in the sense that we want to gather as much as several disciplines, several key authority players in the industry. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to in various areas that they have passion for. take for example, if you are into photography, for example, there is need for you to understand how to take a picture in an attraction. It's different from you taking a picture in a wedding gathering. They are two different things. As a photographer, you need to understand that. Now, if you are a tourism journalist, there is need for you to key into what they call, take for example, an association in Nigeria, we have ANJETs. Now, there is need for you to understand how to write reports, how to create content in tourism. Now, these are the things that in YTDU we are trying to do. We want to identify authorities in the industry and train them on how to do these things. Now, at the end of my presentation today, I'm going to read to us some statistics of how tourism has helped immensely all over the world, not just in Africa alone. Tourism, aviation, and hospitality. Well, I'm of the background of tourism and hospitality, and I can say both are intertwined. They are interwoven. You know, one you can't say one without talking about the others. I equally have a background of hospitality very well because I've worked in a noticeable and prestigious hotel. I did my IT at 4 Point by Sheraton, and I worked at Intercontinental Hotel Lagos. So I have a knowledge of what hospitality is all about. I've equally worked with the Lagos State Ministry of and Intergovernmental Relations, and presently I work with the Lagos State government under health. Now, to say, having said all this, I will just give an instance. I know of a friend who we did IT in different hotels. He did his own at Federal Palace Hotel. I did my at Intercontinental Hotel at 4 Point by Sheraton. Now, I'm going somewhere about regards passion and focus. Now, his name is Sheung Akomolafe. We call him Chef Smart. Now, for 6 months, I did my IT at 4 Point by Sheraton. For 6 months, I was at the engineering department. He's on at Federal Palace earlier. When you are doing your IT in hotels in Nigeria, you are expected to you are expected to go through all the departments, virtually all, at least each department. Each department, you need to at least just have a touch, maybe 1 month or 2 months. Now, I noticed something. When Sheung did when he was at housekeeping, he did his best. When he was at the front office, he did his best. But when he got to the F&B, the kitchen, to be precise, kitchen department, he found out that is where he has passion. And he took it with all honesty, with everything in him. Now, Sheung is doing wonderfully well in food and beverage department. As I speak with you now, he has been called, he's working in various reputable hotels in Nigeria. Now, as for myself, I did my own IT. I did 6 months. I was in the engineering department. Now, when I finished from the engineering department, they moved me to F&B. Now, when I got to F&B, I found out that I have more passion in the service delivery. That is being a waiter or being able to attend to a guest. Now, by God's grace, when I was at Intercontinental, I was among the first set of people to be given the best staff of the month. How do I mean by that? You know, passion is very, very important. As far as tourism is concerned, if you are in a particular discipline, or it does matter to some extent, but there is need for you to have passion in whatever they are doing. Now, I heard Miss Rebele talks about she had a background in biochemistry. I've been watching her and noticing her over the years. I can see the passion in her, the passion she brings to tourism, which is very, very good. Now, to the youth, I encourage them to have what they call passion in what they are doing. Now, like I said earlier, everybody cannot be a tourism consultant, cannot be an event planner, cannot be this, cannot be that. But there is need for you to focus on one particular thing. Now, this brings me to another level. Now, tourism can create jobs, to a country. Now, I have in my frontier, statistics of how tourism create jobs to the world. Now, I'll start by reading and at least explaining what it really means. Now, the tourism sector is directly.
You have 5 minutes more to wrap it up. Thank you. Okay, no problem. Now, the tourism sector is directly and indirectly responsible for 8.7% of the world job creation. That is according to the World Travel Tourism Council in 2012. Now, 9.2% of the world GDP, it has created that. Now, 5.3% of world export, that is tourism, has been able to promote, has been able to promote a lot of things in Africa. Now, when we are talking about jobs also, now about 3.8 million jobs, including 2.4 million indirect jobs, could be created by the tourism industry in sub-Saharan Africa. That is in the year 2021. Now, total direct and indirect employment impact of tourism in Africa is 12.8 million jobs in 2001. So invariably, we can see the percentage of what tourism has done to the entire continent. Now, with the few I've said, I believe the youth can key into tourism and hospitality and ensure that they come out with something good from it. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. So we have asked to all turn on our video and just keep smiling so that we can see all your beautiful faces. So turn on your videos and keep smiling. And start putting your questions together. We'll be coming to you very soon. The participants, please put your questions together. Mr. Pascal, thank you again very much. I just have one question for each of you. Please take 2 minutes to answer. I'll go to Mr. Usman first. Mr. Usman, you said your organization advises the government. It's very important that our governments start getting interested in what we are doing. So my question to you is, how responsive are they? How is your government responding to the advice you're giving them concerning tourism? And like you already spoke about what can be done during this COVID-19 time. So just one thing, how can you advise young people to get involved in domestic tourism? Mr. Usman, please.
Thank you very much. The way we advise government is through the Honorable Minister of Tourism and Culture. The ministry is a policy-making body, and we are the implementing arm. So whatever we implement and it turns positive, the government will see it as a positive move towards tourism development, because the positivity will reflect in the growth of the economy and also job creation and the stakeholders being positive about it. But when the implementation part of it becomes negative, also the government realizes it and then the policies are changed. So this is how we influence government through the Honorable Minister. And also jobs are created through the increased availability of the economy and what tourism trickles in, because the benefits of tourism trickles down to the local people. So basically, this is what we do.
Okay. And is the government responsive to that? Like, do they actually get to support the tourism industry?
Yes, the government is supporting the tourism industry, because during this pandemic, they realized that the tourism industry is down, so they need a stimulus package in order to encourage our stakeholders and those who are participating in tourism. We have given them some money in order to get them motivated and in order to get them started. This is what we are doing.
Okay.
So we are working with our government together.
Okay, thank you very much. Just one last for you. how will you encourage African youths to get involved in domestic tourism? Mr. Usman. How will you encourage? Yeah, please go on.
Domestic tourism. What we have done is we have identified, because the Gambia is divided into 7 administrative regions. It's smaller than Nigeria though. So each of these administrative areas, the Gambia Tourism Board have identified a place where we build a camp, a tourism camp or a hotel. And then the employment comes from that very community. And the Gambia Hotel School will train school leavers from that community and from that region. And now we will encourage a package of tourism from the Greater Banjul area, meaning the capital region, to other regions. This is how we encourage domestic tourism.
Okay, thank you very much. I saw Ms. V ask that they should be unmuted so that they can ask their questions. Please just hold on, just like 5 more minutes. Just get your questions ready. In 5 minutes time, I'll open the floor for you to throw your questions. You can also text the question if you want, but you can just raise your hand when it's time. Mr. Gabe, please, one question for you. How can tourist entrepreneurs really get clients? How can they get good clients?
Okay, yes, good. I mentioned earlier that tourism marketing is commercialized through channel, and destination management organizations put together as a gamut. The hotelier cannot stand alone to sell his hotel without linking up with the car hire service, without the tour guide, without the tour operator. So we have to come together in a cooperative called the Destination Management Organization. It's highly technical, and that is why we cannot just jump into it. I talked about the tripod for a repeat experience, which is quality service delivery, arising from quality training. And we've seen a lot of people offering service delivery. What the Gambian example. We have also tried to float a tourism academy here in the Tourism Bureau. We also have the Cross River Quality, which is our standard rating agency. So we must put together as a group of people, and we'll make presentations. Every quarter, we'll go out to meet organizations to say, look, we have an international conference center in Badagry, or in Calabar, or in Lagos. And the people who go out there are the people like Miss B, are the people like the wellness Madame Beryl, you know, so that we will throw in these little offerings in the package for the would-be tour operator. Then we'll launch it through a website. We'll launch it through flyers. You understand? Then constantly, tourists are on the system, watching, looking out for opportunities, looking for new grounds to break. But we must begin to cooperate. We must begin to share intelligence amongst us. So it is low-hanging fruit for all of us. And it is not a secret land deal. We must cooperate. Those of us in the industry must cooperate. I talked about seamless travel, the place of aviation, hospitality, and tourism. Then others will come under. And the car, the ground transport, the tour operator, the tour guide. Is in some destinations, the main tour guide takes you to a docent. When he gets to the museum, I don't know about museum history and icons inside the museum. I will hand you over to a docent who is on ground to talk to you about the museum. If I take you from there, I will take you now to the wildlife sanctuary in Ghana, or the canopy walkway. So cooperation is critical.
Okay, thank you very much. And so thank the SACSTEAM and because this is one place where we can start to create. There are a lot of people that I didn't know that they could offer two services. But now we're getting to meet a lot of people and connect here and learn how to grow. Mr. Pastor, you didn't talk about what exactly you think the young people now can do to overcome the COVID-19 challenges. So please, I'd just like you to come in with that. Just tell us what you think the young people now should do to overcome the COVID-19 challenges. Mr. Pascal, please.
Okay, yes. Thank you so much for that question. Now, what I think the young people can do to overcome COVID-19 is by being socially, they should make use of their social media platform. Now, how do I mean by that? Now, in the case whereby you can reach out to your target audience, there's nothing stopping you. You can create a content maybe like by a blogging, or write about a destination that you have actually been to. So at the end of, maybe if COVID-19 subsides down a little or subsides down completely, then you can now move your audience to that attraction. So basically, you can make use of a social media platform, and also you can create content.
Okay.
Just to attract the audience.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Okay, Captain Great, I'm sure you can unmute people now so that they can ask their questions. Please raise your hand if you have a question. I see some people have typed their question in there. I'm going to read them, but you can raise your hand and ask your question. So while everyone is coming in with their questions, I just want to add one more solution to the COVID-19 challenge. I'm going to come in here as a brain coach. Now, the reason why many people are going to stress during this time and after is because many people do not really have the mental toughness they need to calm down, to be patient, and to be by themselves. A lot of things have happened these days just because people are with themselves, with their thoughts. A lot of people cannot sit with their thoughts. There's just so much going in there that they can't control. But if you learn how to control yourself, life is 90% mental. If you're going to do business, you're going to have a relationship, you're going to have a family, it's mental, 90% mental. You have to learn you have to be intentional about your mental health. You have to be intentional about mental skills. It's not just having people talk to you. Therapy is very important, don't get me wrong, but you need more than just therapy when things go wrong. You need to set yourself up. You need to be mentally strong. You need to build resilient skills, because when things like this happen, now it's COVID-19, it could be anything. Life throws things at us all the time. It could be anything. And if things like that happen, you don't have the mental toughness you need to wait for the healing to come. Let me put it that way. Because waiting is never easy. It's not easy to have patience. But if you have the mental toughness you need to hold on through the challenging times, you will certainly be strong enough to get to the end of it and to build a resilience for the future. So as youth, I encourage you to take your mental skills, your mental tools, and your mental health very seriously. It's not just about going online to Google things about mental health and mental skills. Please do find someone or a group of people or an institution where you can really learn how to coordinate your brain, how to coordinate your mental skills and your mental abilities. So thank you very much. Captain Emmanuel, please, I think you can unmute people to ask questions, but let me just read what someone said. Okay, Ms. V said, Mr. Gabe, I would also like to ask you about how your role and position can facilitate sharing and specific sector training experience from Calabar as case study to other training institutions across Nigeria for starters, so we can get our young people, as Mr. Usman presented, to take over from the aging group? Thank you. That's Ms. B to Mr. Gabe. Mr. Gabe, please, can you respond to that?
Very well. I just responded to her in the chat room now. Am I there?
Okay.
Are you hearing me?
I didn't see that. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I'm just assuring her that, yes, we have developed a tourism model for West Africa using the Cross River State example. And that truly we can share our template so that we can try it. We are very willing, and we are working with about 15 contributors who work with us worldwide, from America, from Jamaica, because we did our tourism training in Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago. Then we had experiential training in events management school in Washington. So we are bringing all these as a building blocks to teach our people that this is the way to go. We are calling that work developing a tourism model for West Africa using the Cross River State example. So Ms. B, you are in the spirit. So we'll work together on this. We are willing to go out and share.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Please, questions, raise your hand and ask questions. Thank you, Mr. Gabe.
Thank you.
The floor is open.
Ms. Berry?
Yes.
We actually have a first question from Ms. B, which is actually directed to Mr. Usman. And if you permit me to read it out, can I go ahead with your permission?
Yes, go ahead.
Ms. Berry, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Okay.
I just read the question from Ms. B already. That's why I'm wondering.
No, we have two questions. One was directed to Mr. Usman, while the second one was directed to Mr. Gabe.
All right. Yeah. Please go on. Please go on with the question.
Okay, so from Ms. B to Mr. Usman, as a way of already exciting young African people, how can your board, your tourism board, facilitate trans-African IT exchange? As a trainer, I'm very interested in this, as this used to happen before trust and integrity reduced. So how can you facilitate trans-African IT exchange, Mr. Usman?
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. And Ms. B, thank you very much for your question. First of all, what we are doing is we are promoting what is called regional tourism promotion by linking Gambia to Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Liberia, in order to exchange and also listen to each other, learn from each other. Ghana has been coming here. Ekeche from Nigeria has been coming here. The Akwaba, you remember, it's another platform in Nigeria. So this is the way we are sharing first in tourism products and whatever we do in tourism. The other thing also that I want to add onto this platform is the Gambia Tourism Board. We have a weekly radio program. It's called The Tourists, and I am the anchor. I have been doing this broadcasting, 2 hours broadcasting on radio every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And 1 hour of the broadcast is for the Gambians and the tourists, because we need to educate them the do's and the don'ts in tourism. But we also need to educate our own Gambian people, how do they handle our visitors and our friends and our tourists. So it's a two-way thing. So I think from there, yes, to answer Ms. B's question, this is where our tourism board will partner with the Ministry of Communication and IT and see how we can partner with the Ministry of IT in Nigeria or any other Nigerian IT body to see what we can partner together. What is the theme? What is the subject? What do we want to do together? So I think it has to start from somewhere. But I think it's important that we link our ITs in Africa, and as we are linking our tourism now on this platform. So I think it's very important that we learn from each other, we listen to each other, and we appreciate each other. So Ms. P, That's what I have for you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Usman. Mary, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. There's a question from Omar. Okay, I think that one has been answered already. He was asking if there are any opportunities for youth at this year's Calabar Festival, and Mr. Gabe already responded to him. I think you're going to answer him directly. He should inbox you also. Another person asked, please, that's Ode Victor, how to register tourism company in Nigeria, and also what are the requirements? Please, I think anyone can answer that, the people from Nigeria.
Okay, can I take that question with your permission, Ms. Berry?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay. Registering a tourism business in Nigeria is actually very simple. We have two major types of business registration in Nigeria. The first one we actually call a business name registration. So that is kind of cheaper, and it's more actually targeted at small businesses. Definitely, tourism businesses are most in the category of MSMEs, micro, small, and medium enterprises. So you can register a tourism business in Nigeria with a CAC, that is Corporate Affairs Commission, for as low as 25 or 35,000 naira as a business name. Okay. Then we also have the second stage, which is actually registration of a limited liability company, which we refer to as LTD. So that definitely is, large corporation or more macro corporations. We have a director, maybe 2 or 3 directors or 1 secretary. You conduct an AGM. So it depends on where you want to start from actually. And then as a sideline to that question, because concerning what young people can do as far as tourism is concerned, looking at what Mr. Gabe have said about marketing, and the question that came about how can we market this product. So the first thing that we also need to understand is that we need to understand that young people need to approach tourism from a business mindset. Because as I'm talking to you right now, okay, Pascal is my friend, he's here on the panel. There are a lot of young people that are doing a lot of stuff in tourism solo without getting their business registered and without also knowing some other opportunities. So we have so many tour operators. We have, as Pascal said, not all of us can be tour consultants, not all of us can be tour operators. So Barry, if you permit me, I have here a list of 30 tourism business enterprises that young people can actually venture into, 30 of them. But I need your permission, since I'm not a member of the panel, to go ahead with that, because I believe 1 or 2 people here want to know what opportunities are there for them. And these opportunities should be approached in the form of a business. So my advice is that as I roll out this list of 30, get a business registered in the category of these businesses. And they are all tourism-related business. Ms. Berry, can I go ahead?
Yes, please go ahead. While he's doing that, just keep bringing on your questions. Please go ahead, Captain.
Okay, all right. So the first one is the tour operator, the one that everybody is doing right now. Everybody who has a tour package wants to conduct a tour, but that's not the only one. The second one is tour guides. We don't have so many tour guides in the Nigerian tourism industry. Young people doing tour guiding fantastically. Thank God Mr. Gebona has mentioned tour guiding in his presentation, and definitely there are institutions in Nigeria. My Aviation and Tourism Institute, we do tour guiding a lot. NIOTO does a lot of training on tour guiding also, and other institutions. But my institution, we had to partner with NIOTO. And I remember, Mr. Usman, I met one of your representatives at 2018 Aquaba. They came actually to advertise Gambia Tourism Institute. And we actually discussed a partnership between my aviation school and Gambia Tourism Institute to facilitate transfer of IT. So a Nigerian can finish in a tourism school in Nigeria, can come to Gambia for an internship, and Gambia can also exchange. So I would like to connect with you after this meeting, and that is in line with Ms. B's question. The third opportunity is tour site operators. There are a lot of tour sites who the operators on ground are not really too educated. They don't really know what the business is all about. And we have so many of these tour sites. Now, you can discover a tour site in your local government and decide to manage it. Or you can actually apply to a tour site managing company and also be a staff there. The fourth one is the hotels. Number 5 is the airlines. Number 6 is guest houses. A lot of people don't know that accommodation options are so many. Hotel is one. We have guest houses. We have apartments. So number 7 here is art and craft galleries. Recently, during the Osun State Tourism Master Plan, I found out that we have a new art gallery, private art gallery in Osogbo, Osun State. I was shocked. Genesis Art Gallery, fantastic gallery. And when I got there, the first question I asked the owner was, "Do you have personnel here who can give people a presentation on this gallery?" He said no, and they are willing to partner with our aviation school to supply them personnel for their art gallery. 8 is restaurant, fast food, and eateries. And this is very, very important because we have a lot of restaurants out there who don't understand that they are part of the tourism value chain. So restaurants must begin to learn how to receive tourists and treat customers as travelers, as tourists also. So you can go into a restaurant business as a tourist or as a tourism professional and do restaurant differently from the aspect of tourism and hospitality. Travel agencies is number 9. Car hire services is number 10. Luxurious bus transportation is number 11. Tourism exhibition organizer is number 12. Tourism exhibition organizer is part of what Sophia and FCBA is doing virtually right now today. And then we also have tourism resorts, tourism training. That's where people like myself and Ms. V are, okay? Souvenirs, tour souvenirs. There are a lot of young people who have companies that strictly are into souvenirs. So you can just focus your attention on that so that all of us don't become tour operators and tour consultants. Tourism souvenirs are needed to be dropped at different points like airports, like hotels, like restaurants and fast food. So you can just venture into creating tourism souvenirs. And then the next list is very, very, very important. I'm going to be talking about cultural and artistic skills that are also business chain in tourism. So I'm going to take number 16, traditional fashion. Traditional fashion design, very fantastic. Yeah. Some of our fashion is actually getting outdated. And there are people out there that are skillful in, creating the traditional fashion. So somebody can, look into that and, get on board. We have traditional and cultural dance troupes. And that's where Mr. Gabe comes in. Okay, those fantastic dances that you see them do at Calabar, I've never seen any of it anywhere in the world. Okay, then we have native cloth weaving, traditional air plating. Number 20 is boat and cloth operators. Boat operators are very much in short supply in Nigeria, and we have so many water bodies all over the country in Nigeria. We have traditional musicians. Traditional musicians, we have a lot of musicians in Nigeria, but not many of them are doing the traditional thing. And we have a lot of talented traditional musicians who we should encourage to come into tourism. Event management is one of them. The next one I have is destination marketing, followed by amusement parks, followed by parks and recreations. Definitely amusement park is different from parks. Because when you mention park, you're looking at the Yankari Game Reserves, the National Park Service of Nigeria. We have about 7 parks in Nigeria. Parks and recreation is a fantastic one. Convention halls and event centers. Tourism archaeologists, tourism publishers, and the last one is tourism consulting. So that's my 30 list of several opportunities that young people can actually come in. And don't forget, when you are coming into these opportunities, come from the business angle. Get a business register. Don't just curate a tour and try to get people on social media when you haven't registered a business. And because when you don't register that business, you won't be able to get that point that Mr. Gabe was coming on by saying that at the end of the day, you should be able to make money home. So commercializing tourism business will require you registering that business officially. So thank you very much, Barry, for giving me that opportunity.
Thank you very much, Captain Emmanuel. Please, I hope you could make the list available, maybe to send by mail to all of us, if that's possible.
Yes, I can do that.
All right.
I can do that.
Okay, thank you very much. There's another question from Ms. V. She said the question is for Pascal. Okay. Thank you, Pascal, for your presentation. I would like to talk about some specific challenges. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Pascal, for your presentation. I would like.
Yeah, I think that noise is coming from Pascal's end. Pascal, you want to get rid of that distraction?
Please off it, please. Hello? Sorry, I can hear you.
Okay.
Please, can you repeat the question?
So, Ms. Lisa, thank you for your presentation. I would like you to talk about some specific challenges young people should expect as they seek opportunities in these three sectors, so they are aware that it's not a bed of roses. So what are some of the challenges people can expect?
Yes, Ms. V, thank you for that question. It's a very important question that, you know, as a tourism person, you need to take note of such. One of them is security. You know, as a tour operator or as a tour planner, you need to consider security. How do I mean by that? If you are packaging a tour, take for example to Olumorok, there is need for you to have 2 or 3, you know, security guards on ground to assist if there is any form of, you know, maybe any rob or any form of problem in such destination. Now, the second one is you should try as much as possible to, how do I put it now? Be aware, that is awareness of that destination. This is also key. Sometimes I see some tour operators marketing some destinations that they are not fully aware of. Like what I was telling a colleague of mine sometimes ago, that pictures sometimes don't really give you the quality of what you want. Picture can deceive. You understand? I saw a picture online. I want to market it to my clients. You should be very careful. So awareness is also important. And lastly, do your proper consultation. Those are the 3 things I think is very, very important. Those are the challenges, you know, I feel youth are facing when marketing marketing a destination. So those are the key things. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Pascal. Ms. D, I hope your question has been answered. And there's another one from Kingsley to Captain Emmanuel. Say, please shed more light on tourism surveillance.
Okay, I just saw that question. I think he got the pronunciation wrong. What I actually mentioned was tourism souvenirs, like people who are into designing of pen, bags, jotters, magazines that are tourism related. Recently, while I was in Abuja, I got invited by one of my tourism trainees who just opened an office, okay, in Abuja, and she wanted me to join her for the launch. And to my surprise, just before you get to her desk, which is the front desk, she has a very small shelf that she has called Travel Ancillary Shop. And in that Travel Ancillary Shop, what she had there were different souvenirs like pots, spoons, cultural mortar and pestle, souvenirs that are tourism related that are for sale. And that's also in a travel agency. And I was like, wow, this is very, very fantastic. So I wanted to actually pick one of those souvenirs, but unfortunately, she didn't tell me that day that she's going to be, selling souvenirs. So souvenirs are very, very, very fantastic. You will see the NCAC, National Culture and this Otumba Showers organization at Akwaba. You see them come with souvenirs, a lot of them. You see a lot of these souvenirs too at Calabar Carnival. That's why I'm looking forward to having Mr. Gibb on give us an exclusive invitation for this year's Calabar Carnival, because definitely, I think what one of the participants was asking was kind of an exclusive participation for those of us that are participants and panelists of this event to Calabar Carnival. I'm looking forward to that invitation because I was in Calabar Carnival like 7 years ago. I didn't have that opportunity. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you very
The
much.
invitation
Thank you
is
very
out.
much. So I think we got that invitation finally.
We got it. I got it clear. I'm writing it down. I got that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Captain Emmanuel, he also said a tourism archaeologist or something.
Yes, yes. You know, we have a lot of archaeologists out there, people who actually studied archaeology, but we actually do not have any channel or any program to kind of incorporate and integrate them into tourism. I was on Ambassador Ikechi's webinar recently, and I think Mr. Remlord was on board. I think Mr. Gibb was also on board when he was mentioning the names of certain archaeology that we have in Nigeria who actually have not been mentioned. We don't get to mention their names. Archaeologists are very, very important because they take us back to the historical lane that can actually bring up a lot of stories, forgotten stories about cultural tourism. And I think there's a very needed integration between cultural tourism and archaeology. And I think we should go after archaeologists, people who are trained archaeologists that we need to incorporate, integrate them into tourism. So if you are a young person out there, you have studied archaeology, I think you should see tourism as an opportunity to deepen that cultural aspect of tourism. And that is what tourism archaeology is all about.
Okay. Thank you very much. Obina, please, how many more minutes do we have?
I think we are already way over time. Obina?
Perry, can I just come in for a minute?
Yes.
I just want to acknowledge what Emmanuel said about tour guiding. In the Gambia, we have identified about 4 classifications of guiding. We have, first of all, what is called local guiding, which is restricted to your local vicinity. And then the second category is regional guide. We certify you to be a regional guide when you know the history and all the places of interest in your region. And then we have the third one, which is the official tourist guide, which is licensed to guide all over the Gambia. And then we have professional guides, which is like being a bird watcher, or you take maybe interest in guiding about snakes or reptiles. So that's a special guiding, specialized guiding. So at least in the Gambia, we have 4 categories of guides that the Gambia Tourism Board that we guide. So I want to acknowledge what Emmanuel said. Yes, there is room for collaboration. But Ms. P, I also have a question for my final thing. That edifice behind you looks so magnificent and very attractive. Is it a stadium or what is it?
You talking about this?
The National Theatre.
I'm talking about Miss B. Miss B, Miss B. The picture behind her, is it a stadium or what?
Can you unmute Miss B's mic? Unmute Miss B so that she can.
Hello. Okay, can you hear me now? Yes, I'm glad that Mr. Usman has noticed. That's the idea, because this is all part of selling tourism. This is Lagos for real. Discover the National Theatre. So I was very happy when the captain was talking about souvenir. I am looking forward to when a young person will start producing a postcard. When we were growing up, we used to enjoy collecting postcards from different parts of the world with, iconic buildings. So I'm looking forward to when we will have that as well. So this is the idea, promoting all the African heritage we have across the whole world. Thank you.
Wow, that's beautiful. I didn't think that.
Can I chip in something, guys?
Yes.
Go on, Mr. Gabe, please.
Okay, just after what Ms. B just said, actually, the National Theatre can be miniaturized. as a gift item,
Yes.
you know, for tourists with little molds for takeaway. For example, this is writing pen from Kenya. This from Kenya with the beads around them.
Yeah.
This with the giraffe.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yes.
And this is from
That's
South
why
Korea.
we go. Yes, Mr. Gabe, we go to Dubai and come back with their sand, those sand things, all sorts of things, really.
Exactly. The monoliths I showed to you earlier, we have little packages on them, the monoliths, you know. So when you talked about memorabilia and gift items, that is a big opportunity for our youths to sell goods and services. This is from Ethiopia. This is a pen holder from Ethiopia.
Nice.
You know, so our and
so much youth can do.
Like the SME you talked about, these are opportunities for our youths with 200,000 naira, which is about $400 or $500. You can get on the way, you know, and produce this stuff. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Yes, Obina, how much time do we have?
We are already behind time, actually. This is past 12.
Okay.
We should be rounding up.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think we'll just take the last question is for to Mr. Gabe. So what does it take to join or own a carnival group? So that will be the last question. Mr. Gabe, can you answer that for us?
Yes, with every sense of joy, the carnival bands are indeed semi-limited liability companies. We did it so that it can outlive any one of us. I probably have stayed here by luck, you know, by luck and by God's grace, you know. But we wanted it out of the hands of government, so we trust its organization to strong community members. Some of them are non-cross-variants because we want to show that this is a national and international cake for everybody. And that's why I would say the opportunities are boundless in this subsector. But for now, to come in, you start with a non-competing band, either as a sponsor or as an interested public, with a letter of introduction to the Carnival Commission that is responsible for regulating the carnival. The carnival is apolitical. It is non-religious. It is non-sectorial. It is a groundbreaker. It's a leveler for everyone, you know. So to own a carnival band, which is what we call a group now, you have to start as a non-competing band. Maybe you have to talk because in the carnival opportunity on the road match itself, there are opportunities for goods and services to be marketed. So it is a symbiotic relationship. You market your goods and services through the process of music and dance. But behind the music and dance there's a huge industry. The industry of hair weaving, makeup, costume, shoes. Of course, you meet people. For those of you who can take more than one wife, it is an opportunity. For those of you who can take more than one husband, I'm not there. So I told Mr. Usman, I'd like you to greet Mr. Tijan Kaba.
Okay, Mr. Thank you very, very much. Thank you all so much. I mean, I've really been empowered. And I'm looking forward to those connections and opportunities. The last time I was in Nigeria was like 7 years ago. To Nigeria. And I
miss your way now.
I'm there, but I've never been there. So I'm looking forward to invitations to travel to all these places and to partner with you. I mean,
come home to Calabar.
It's good that I can actually offer two things: the tourism and the fitness. So please, you can connect, and all the participants, please connect as much as you can with me, with all the other panelists. As long as you have something good to talk about, then we can always chat. Thank you very, very much, all the strong guys on my panel. Thank you for those who asked questions. Thank you for those who contributed. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Please, let's come ready for the day. I'm very sorry, I wasn't conscious about the time because Ghana, we are 1 hour behind Nigeria. And I kept thinking that we're still at 11:14. So sorry about that. Thank you again very much, Pascal. Thank you, Mr. Usman. Thank you, Mr. Gabe. Thank you, Sophia. So I'm going to end here. I'm handing over to Obina or Sophia, any of them. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Barry. That was a wonderful, wonderful moderation you gave out there. To our panelists, it's a very, very big opportunity to be under your voices, to learn from you. Though I would say the aviation industry runs in my blood, but now you guys are to add some kind of tourism to it to make it make me have a mixture of aviation and tourism, though they are still intertwined kind of. I really appreciate you, Mr. Captain Emmanuel, also for everything you've done so far to make this a success. To our actually, I really appreciate you for all full participations and I thank the panelists for rendering good justice to all the questions asked. And I want to use this from at this point, rather, let me kind of hand over to my co-host of this conference in the person of Sophia. Sophie, please kindly step up and do your thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Captain Emmanuel. Thank you, Ms. B. Thank you, Usman. Thank you, Pascal. Thank you, the Jagaban, Mr. Gabe. And thank you all participants for joining today. I would like to add something to what has just been said all through. In my opening speech, I said I don't really have lots to say because I know these professionals are going to do justice to the topic, and which they have actually done. So the first thing I would want to say is awareness. I think wherever we are right now as professionals, we should start creating awareness. I realize that the problem we have is that the youth don't know opportunities that they have. That's the reason for the program. So we should create more awareness. For instance, in Delta State, there is something we are packaging together that each tour attraction site, these youths will come together, we'll put them together, make them produce things. There is a particular tour attraction site that we are speaking with the king of the village, that at the end of the day, these people should do hand fan. They have a hand fan. They use this bamboo. Yes, you can use it for hand fan, and you see what they make with it, different kind of art work. So when they make these and tourists come to these tour attraction sites, they have a lot to take home. So I believe wherever we are, we should keep preaching the gospel. We should keep preaching tourism. We should keep preaching hospitality. We should keep preaching aviation, because more of the people that get to hear us, the more people will get interested in the industry, just like Obina has said. Now, to cap everything of this afternoon, I've been on and off the meeting because I've been receiving different calls, and I want to say there's a good news in the house. I got a call from someone who owns an aviation school and is offering to give 20 participants scholarship, 100% tuition fee scholarship. So for those of us in the house who have, yes, he just called and he said he was going to give slot to 20 participants to study anything. Either you want to come into aviation, tourism, cargo, hospital, whatever industry you want to study, he's going to give you, the scholarship is available for those category of people. So for those of us who are here today, I think tell your friends to be here tomorrow because we're going to be rolling it out. I won't tell you how we are going to roll it out tomorrow, but there is going to be a plan on, there's already a plan on ground rather. So we are going to be rolling it out. So invite your friends. For those of you who actually want to practice in the aviation industry or the tourism, Captain Emmanuel gave a 30 list of professional jobs that you can actually do in the tourism industry. So for those of you that want to come in, even in your hospitality, there is scholarship, tuition paid slots for you. So tomorrow we are going to be getting more of the gist in the house. So thank you, everybody. I can express my gratitude. And by the way, Captain Emmanuel is an online trainer. So while we are having this on-ground aviation scholarship slots, Captain Emmanuel is also giving slots for
Are you there? Since we lost Sophia.
Have you? Yeah, I'm here about the scholarship. We should be rolling the scholarships out, like for that already. We'll all be hearing about it by tomorrow. Sorry, Mr. Gabe, I almost forgot something. I was going to tell you that you should prepare for us, Student Aviation Club, the members of Student Aviation Club will be visiting Calabar next year. So please prepare for us. We are going to.
Why not yesterday? You're welcome. You're welcome.
Can you hear Obina?
Let's actually, you know, the restrictions and all that. So I'm going to communicate you fully. Student Aviation Club will be having a
I think we lost Obina too.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. Barry, in the absence of the two co-organizers,
okay,
it's
I'm
best
here.
we bring the
back.
Sophia.
Sophia's back.
Okay.
Sophia is back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you, everyone. I believe we have done justice to today, and I'm happy. Thank you. I will give the floor to Captain Emmanuel Losgreat. In fact, this time around is Prophet Emmanuel Losgreat. To say just a closing prayer so that we can all go back to activities for the day. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for the opportunity to host the SACSTEAM2020. It's my pleasure on behalf of myself and the entire team at TBS International. And thank you for bringing voice to the initiative that I started in 2018, Aviation, Tourism, and Hospitality. I'm so glad when Mr. Gabe said that these three sectors is a family and must be synchronized. 2018, I started Aviation, Tourism, and Hospitality Forum, and Sophia was also part of the planning committee for that event. We held it in Osogbo, Osun State. And since that 2018, I can see now that aviation, tourism, and hospitality is now being talked about as a family, as to be synchronized together. So you guys should watch out for Aviation, Tourism and Hospitality Forum and Fair 2021. And Mr. Gabe Honor, I'll be bringing you on board to come and speak more from your experience on how to marry these three sectors together. So Sophia, thank you much once again for bringing the voice again for aviation, tourism, and hospitality for the youth. I'm so much happy. Obina, please, I can see some people telling you not to flirt with the tourism guys. Please, it is allowed. I'm so much glad to welcome you. I was once in aviation strictly as a pilot and a trainer, but then I found my way into tourism and hospitality because I found that these two sectors cannot go without aviation. So I married them together, and in the last 5 years, I've been doing aviation, tourism, and hospitality consult.
Okay, so thank you everybody once again. Okay, I think Captain is back. Okay, thank you everyone. We lost Captain at that angle. Thank you very much. I think I would love Berry. Can you please just say a word of prayer so that we close this section?
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So let's pray. Gracious and ever-living Father, we thank you for today. Thank you for the knowledge that has been poured out. We thank you because you've helped us to open our ears and to listen. Father, we pray that may you help us that these are not just going to be words, but that we'll take them and use them, because those that know you are supposed to be strong and will do exploits. So we pray that as we have been empowered today, may we go out and do exploits with all that we have learned. Bring us back tomorrow to continue for more and take all the glory in our lives. So we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. I can see Chidozie. Well done. Thank you. Okay, now we can all log out and go about our today's activities. Thank you. Hello, Uncle P.
Hello.
So thank you very much, Mr. Gabona, for being part of our team today. You have been wonderful and fantastic. Your presentation is wow. And I actually hated the fact that I had to stop you. I didn't want to stop you. It was too fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Sorry, so painful actually. Captain Nima, please kindly share the YouTube link later with me, please.
Okay, sure. Are we doing that like almost immediately?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Sophia.
Yes, sir.
You may need to transfer back to
Hello,
me.
sir.
You may need to end the meeting. You are the host.
Okay. No problem, sir. Thank you, sir.